Welcome back to another episode of Pulse of Polynesia in the Hot Seat. I'm your host, Leaso Filoialii, coming to you live from the great state of Texas. And of course, joining me all the way from Oklahoma, the one and only Chief Tasiaeafe.
Ya talo fa lava le aso. Malo lava le sui fua maua ma le langi ma. Fa tala fa ate fo i le malu tato atunu u Samoa. Fa pia fo i mai mua mai mo tu ese o le Pasifika. Fa malo ate fo i elo si le sila mai Amerika nei. That's our special greetings to all of our viewers across the Pacific, but also welcome to our viewers here in the United States and all of our viewers across the world. I'm ready for this one, Leaso. As they say in American Samoa, specifically on the west side of the island, at the beautiful beach of Leala, also the home of the sliding rock. They say, "Va'ai mai se tatou ngalu e whase e iuta." That's our analogy or translation. This is a wave that you do not want to miss.
That's right, because in the hot seat tonight, we have not one, but two incredible sisters making history in the water, Lucy and Sive Mata'utia Jarrard. These powerhouse surfers aren't just catching waves, they're catching the world's attention. Representing American Samoa on the international stage, Lucy has been making headlines from competing at the World Surfing Games to writing for a spot in the Olympic trials in El Salvador. And let's not forget Sive, fierce competitor, ocean lover, and the ultimate hype woman who knows how to bring the fire both in and out the water.
Yeah, I love it. So these sisters are proof that Polynesian grit, heart, and style can hold their own against the best in the world. And tonight, we're diving deep. Their journey, their highs, the wipeouts, the laughs, and the waves that changed everything.
So get ready for a night of laughs, powerful stories, and maybe a few behind the scenes surf secrets because Lucy and Sive are officially in the hot seat. What's up? Welcome.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to have you guys.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to be able to have you guys, and thank you so much for the invitation. Especially with the time zone, it's different, and we're at night, you guys are day, and it's nice to be able to see beautiful Hawaii, where both of you reside. So let's get started. Both Lucy and Sive, I'd love for you to introduce yourselves for our listeners. Tell us your names, where you're from, and maybe one thing people might not know about you outside of surfing.
My name is Lucy. I'm 23 years old. We live in Waianae, in Hawaii, but we're born and partially raised in California, Oceanside, Carlsbad, and we've been living here for a while, so we grew up in both places.
And then I'm Sive, I'm 22, and yes, we're from California, but grew up in both California and here in Hawaii. And then something people may not know is, well, I think Lucy and I, we just love to laugh with each other. That's our favorite thing to do.
Well, you know what? I have a question for you guys. You're part of a family of five kids, and now three of you are competing, competitive surfers. What was it like growing up in that busy ocean-loving household?
It was so much fun. A lot of people don't know, but there's five of us total, and my two older sisters also surf, and my older sister Eva, or Evalani, she's actually won a state championship in California.
Mm.
So I feel like her and my older sister Juju paved the way, and my dad and my mom because they took us to the beach, but paved the way for me, Sive, and Jonah. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are, especially because they all push us to be better athletes and better people. So growing up in that environment is just a blessing, and even if we never compete another day in our life, we're just grateful to be able to share it with each other.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
I have
so,
something
Steve,
for you
go ahead.
guys.
Go ahead.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, Matt Straight.
I have the jacket. I have so many of those jackets at home.
So I have relatives that are in Oceanside, and their daughter plays softball at OU. So a lot of the Polynesian girls are here at University of Oklahoma. So every time they're here, they hook me up with these poly gear. So I'm always sporting Oceanside. So when I seen your background, listening to your podcast, I kind of got excited, had something to share with you guys. So that being said, you guys started in Oceanside, California, before moving to Hawaii. How did that change, the change in location and the surf culture shape, the style and opportunities for you guys?
Um, I guess when we're like younger, like growing up in Oceanside and learning how to surf in Oceanside, like it was like a lot of fun. Obviously, the cultures are like so different. I think it was coming to Hawaii, like coming to the islands, like especially as like Polynesians, like the connection to surfing was just a lot different, and so I really appreciated that when we moved. But when we go back to Oceanside, it's like okay, this is also like our home and like where we grew up. So I think it's like sometimes maybe like a cultural like difference in connection.
Hmm. And you still
And
have
what
family
is
back there right now, right?
mhm.
Back in Oceanside.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And we surf with like a lot of family. So that was really cool to grow up in Oceanside
Inside.
um, and do that.
Yeah, and then you have a brother who also is competing as well. How is it having all young three of you surfing here? Because I believe your sisters are they still in Oceanside?
One of our sisters is in Oceanside, and then our other sister is here, and she did
Okay.
one competition with us for fun, which I'm glad that she got to
Yeah.
experience. But
Mm,
four of us are here, and one is in.
nice,
And yeah,
nice.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so with all of you guys competing at the same time, especially with now you have one brother, right? How is it
Yeah.
with your brother being a part of all this sister surfing?
I think he loves it because I mean that's all he knows, and we love having a little brother, especially that
Mm,
he's the youngest. It's so fun. Like a lot of people around the island know the three of us together because every time we go surfing together and with our dad. But
Hmm.
the three of us are always surfing together. So when the three of us are apart,
It's
it's
weird,
different.
right?
Like everyone's
Yeah.
always like, "Oh, where's your brother? Where's your brother?" But surfing with him is so awesome, and he really pushes us in our
Hmm.
competitions and in the water and just in general.
nice, nice. Well, I'm gonna go back to Oceanside, right? You guys, I believe, just learning about the both of you and your family, you guys moved when you were in your teens, so about 15, 14 years old. Is that correct? From Oceanside?
Yes. I
Like,
think I was
and
15.
I was 16.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was it hard because you grew up in Oceanside and having to leave that environment, that comfort, how was that change for your family coming to Hawaii?
Um, I think it was definitely a change when we came to Hawaii. We came with our papa. So like that experience was a lot of fun. But like the transition going back and forth, I think it went really like smoothly, and I think we just like enjoyed being in the island and just like living that lifestyle and like trying something new. So I don't think it was like hard. I mean, there was the hardships, but like overall, it was just a lot of joy.
I think it like brought our family closer together.
Hmm.
Yeah, it definitely brought our family closer together. So we enjoyed we enjoy like living
Yeah.
here, and it wasn't like too bad.
Was there a cultural shock in a way? You know how there's a different type of speaking English in Hawaii versus Oceanside. I believe they call it pigeon.
I think the cultures are different, but I don't think it was like too big of a culture shock for at least me and Sive because I think we adapt easily to different environments. So we were
Hmm.
Yeah.
mostly just like excited to be a part of something new.
Hmm.
But it definitely was different, but we were mostly excited and just wanted to like be part of it. So I feel like it wasn't like
That
super
were crazy.
yeah.
Oh, good, good, good.
Walk me through the thought process. I know you guys started picking up surfing and swimming at a very, very young age. Um,
Hmm.
so comparing the ocean, in Oceanside versus Hawaii, is there a preference? But at a very young age, was there any fear that getting into the water? I know at a young age, most people are afraid of sharks and things like that. What was going through your mindset at that young age?
Well, I think I'm still scared of sharks, but I don't know. I think we're so young when we learned how to surf. I don't really even like remember like what it was like for me to learn how to surf, or like what it was like being in the water at a young age. From like what I do remember, like I just loved going to the beach, and I think like we really loved surfing because it was something that we could all do together, like as siblings and like as a family.
Well, like in the beginning, I actually didn't like the beach.
Yeah.
But our dad is a surfer, so like if you know surfers, it's like my dad's going surfing no matter what. So like we're going to the beach no matter what. So I would just sit on the beach when I was younger, but I'll go surfing. But like, you know, I wasn't scared. I think I just wanted to like stay home and relax. But like I love surfing now, but I wasn't really necessarily scared. I just think I wasn't ready to like
Surf.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna ask because I grew up in American Samoa, but then before we went to American Samoa, we were from California. But what was shocking when I first got to American Samoa is a lot of the Samoans they keep their kids from going to the ocean because it's dangerous. But to see that you guys were introduced at a very young age and learning that your grandparents were from American Samoa, so it seems like there wasn't that fear factor. There wasn't that protection. Like, hey, it's dangerous out there. It seems like they encourage you guys, which was good. And so share that feeling. Do you sometimes have that feeling like you're drawn to the ocean? I know you guys felt that. Share that experience with us. And I know most Polynesians feel that way. They tell you stay away from the water, but you were drawn to the ocean, right? So share that feeling with us.
I just feel like it's a special connection, and like I feel like you don't feel like yourself unless you go into the ocean. Like if
Mhm.
you're having a bad day or just don't feel good, even if you're not surfing, if you just go into the ocean, it automatically makes you feel
So good.
so good. And also, I just wanted to say that our grandparents, we used to do Oceanside Junior Lifeguards, and my grandma, she would go to the beach all day with my mom and
Oh, I love
watch
it.
us. Yeah, so they kind of, at first, I think they were hesitant, but I think both of our grandparents really supported us. And when I went to Samoa and American Samoa, being there because that's where we're rooted, I feel like it feels like a special connection. Like you have a different connection in the ocean and just like on the island that you wouldn't understand unless
Right.
you're part of it, which I think
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
really good.
I know that when you guys come home as a family, what is it like? Well, actually, hold on just a second. We have a question for you. I'm sorry. Let me put it up for you, Arlington.
Okay. Okay, so this is from Janet from Oklahoma. She asks, "What goes through your mind when you're surfing the wave?"
Um, Honestly, I don't think anything goes through my mind. I think I feel so much peace, and it's so much more of like a connection than thinking, oh, like what does this feel like? You're just so connected to the water, and I think that's like the whole entire thing. And then when you get off the wave, then you feel so happy because like just the feeling of it.
There's another
Just
one.
like the adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then she follows up and says, "What's your greatest fear about surfing?"
Um, well, the ocean is very dangerous, so obviously you don't want to drown or like you don't want to hit your head on the reef, or you don't want something to happen to like someone you're surfing with, like your mom, your dad, or your siblings, and like you're not aware. So there is dangerous things in the ocean, but I'm not really fearful
Or more.
of like anything that's gonna happen when I'm going surfing. But
Gotcha.
those are like fears that can be, but you just have to be like
Mindful.
self-aware. But you just kind of have to like hope for the best because those things
Can happen.
can happen, but the odds of it happening aren't super high.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I want to follow up with what she had asked, and I'll get back to this question that just popped up. Like in Samoa, they have like real bad like rip currents, right? Riptides. I know you guys are very cognizant of that danger. So can you share with our audience what your experience of what riptides are, so that way it's like a safety precaution for those who are not familiar with the ocean?
Sure. Basically, like a riptide is like a big current that can sweep you out into the ocean, and it can go from like 1 mile, it can go 10 miles, and like so at a certain point it will stop, but it basically just rips you out really far. But if you are stuck in a rip current, if you swim like diagonally to the beach, that's like the easiest way to get out of a rip current. And it's really important to like not panic if you're in one, and just try to be safe and swim in like diagonally to the beach. Um, I've been in a lot of rip currents, but it's just when you go into the ocean and like you're always in the ocean, it's really important to know ocean safety. And so Lucy and I and like our family, we're really big on ocean safety. So like those are things that we try to talk about and prepare for just in case things, because things can happen.
Right. No, I like that. And the only reason why I bring that up is so in Samoa, they're very superstitious. And like in the early 80s, towards the 90s, and a lot of Samoans, when they get drifted out, before they understood the rip currents, the Samoan belief was always it's the spirits pulling you out to the to the deep. So a lot of the Samoans would fight it, and because they're fighting it, they would exhaust themselves, and eventually the waves would the current would take them out, and they eventually drowned. But it wasn't until the surfers came from Cali and Hawaii they were starting to surf these so-called danger areas in Tutuila, and we just looked at them and said, "Man, these guys are crazy. They're surfing, like the spots that we wouldn't even dare to go out." But we learned through them. These surfers came and they educated us and said, "No, that's not spirits pulling you out. It's this, riptide." So, like the '90s is sort of our introduction to what that was. But you still see a lot of folks who fear that, and they get into these dangers because they're pulled out to sea, and next thing they're afraid of the deep, and then they drown out there. So thanks for sharing. Go ahead, Lasso.
We have another one.
Okay, let's see. This is High Chief 3. Salofoso, Loctofa, Chief Tasi, and Sis Leaso. Thanks for this wonderful channel. Keep up the good work. Shout out to Lucy and Steve. Congratulations on your success. God bless you all. Thank you, Chief.
So, Lucy and Sive, when you guys are not in the ocean, what is talk like at the dinner table? Does mom have to tell you guys to change the subject, or do you guys just talk about surf all day at the dinner table? How is it like for you guys?
I think we just talk about how our days were after competitions and like when competitions are coming up. We talk about surfing. Um, Sometimes we make jokes. It just kind of depends. It's usually casual unless something's coming up. Then we'll talk about surfing. But we try to just talk about surfing when it's going on because sometimes when you talk too much about it, it can become like a little overwhelming. So we just kind of
Mm.
try to draw like the separation or draw the line between.
So I have to ask as well. I have a family, 6 kids, and so when I was teaching my kids how to play piano, I had a very hard time keeping my patience. I believe your father had taught, you mentioned your dad taught both of you, all your siblings, how to surf. I'm wondering, how was it when your mom, what was her reaction when she found out that, the kids that your dad was going to teach you guys how to surf and versus doing the normal, what parents would take their kids to play regular sports, soccer, basketball, or whatever type of land sports you may call. Tell us about that.
Um, yeah, my mom definitely wanted us to play land
Land
sports.
sports.
Our grandparents too, but I think like as we just kept going on and doing it,
It
they
became the norm.
yeah it became normal. But they definitely wanted her to play volleyball, and we tried
Oh,
land sports. Like we played basketball growing up, like when
mhm,
we were young.
mhm.
And my brother played rugby up until
Mm.
he was like for a few years in his teenage years, or
Yeah,
we
like
know like 12,
13-ish.
13 around there. And my mom enjoyed that, but I think everyone knew my dad was a surfer, so everyone knew we were gonna surf. But they definitely tried to push land sports. But now my mom is like totally hooked on the ocean.
So, Lucy, I wanted to ask, being the oldest of the second group of siblings, how is it with sports with you and your younger siblings? Do you give them a fair competition, or are you just like you're brute, and, bring it, right? Not, we're
Um,
not going to give you any slack. How does that work for you?
Yes, I'm definitely like that. Like, I don't give my siblings any slack. I always, sometimes people say I'm bossy, but I just want my siblings to be the best or do the best they can do. So sometimes it can come off like people could think it could be negative, but I just push them the hardest I can. Sometimes my brother gets mad, but it's coming from a good place. But I'm super proud of my siblings because we've overcome so much. We don't really talk about things, but they've overcome so much, and I'm so proud of where they are. But I definitely push them really hard, and she can tell you more about it if you want. You want to know?
Yeah, Sive, tell
No,
us
yeah.
about it.
Oh my god. No, I think like Lucy's like, cause like some people like need to be pushed, and like that's kind of like me. And so when I was younger, like I didn't even want to do surf contests because I just wanted to be at home with my mom. But she was like, no, you need to do this because you're gonna be good at it. And she kind of like not forced me to do it, but like influenced me and like encouraged me in a lot of ways. Even like with my brother, like she's like encouraging. And sometimes surfing like can't be scary because we surf big waves, and like I'll get scared, and like I look, he sometimes don't want to go out. She's like, no, we're going out, we're going out. Like sometimes like you need somebody that's gonna push you to be a better person. So I think she's a great sister.
Thanks. So real.
So we have a question here from one of our viewers. Hi, Chief says, what is your favorite beach to surf at in Hawaii or anywhere that you both have competed at? Great question.
My favorite beach to compete at is Sunset Beach on the North Shore. I love to surf there because I love the waves, and even though they're big, I feel like I tend to do better and bigger surf, and I just think it's really fun. And even though sometimes it's scary, it's good for me to push myself and like
Yeah.
get out of my comfort zone. It's my favorite place.
And my favorite place to compete is Haleiwa. I used to not like surfing there because I was like kind of scared of the wave, but now I like to compete there because I think sometimes challenging waves can be good for growth. So I like competing there. And then my favorite place to surf is probably Makaha next to our house because it's so fun. And we just like grew up surfing there too. So I think we just love it surfing there.
Okay, so, you know, talk about land sport, right? We push our kids to do the best they can, especially in football. Every sport anybody plays, it's there's a danger in whatever they do, right? But when you're surfing, you're out there in the ocean. It's you and the ocean and the way, you and the waves. I mean, what was in your mind that what did your dad do to you guys to make you have that confident to catch that wave to where, hey, do this? I mean, because I mean, there's a possibility of getting hurt, right? But the way I see you guys move on those waves, you guys are professional, by the way. What is it that you do? I mean, this is something that others who are playing sports or jumping into something that's new can learn from the both of you. Like, how is it that you guys are able to tackle these big challenges, these big waves?
Our dad always pushed us. He was hard on us in surfing, but not hard in a bad way, hard in a good way, saying like, because surfing's very dangerous. So if you hesitate, you're more likely to get hurt. So you just kind of have to go and not hesitate. So every time there'd be a big wave, he would like tell us, you gotta go. And like, if you pull back,
You're gonna get
or
hurt.
don't go, you can go over the thing, the board can hit you in the head. So he would always like really push us to go on the bigger waves. And I think that made us more comfortable in that sense. I feel like that's why we're so comfortable on bigger waves, because you have to go, or there's a chance that you can get hurt. But what about you, Sive?
Yes. Like sometimes I'd be scared and I'm like, no, dad, not this wave. And then he would just push my board. And like, even though like I would doubt myself, like he knew that we could do it. And so I think that's where our dad was like, no, we're going out in these waves because he knew what we're capable of, and he knew that we were safe because we did swimming lessons, and then we also did like the junior guard, so we're always around ocean safety. So sometimes you just need someone to help you get comfortable and like move on into like the new step in your sport or like hobby.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going
here's
to
a
ask,
follow-up. Yeah.
about your grandparents. You know how they always say in Samoa that we're blessed because our parents or grandparents they pray over us, right? Do you feel that presence, when you're out there on the waves? Do you feel you're grateful that those prayers are there to protect you guys? What's your spiritual
Yeah,
feelings out there on these waves?
yes. All of us, all of my siblings and I, we were raised like really close with our grandparents, and like we love our grandparents, and so I think it's just really like beautiful that we're able to like share this part of our culture um, with our grandparents, even though they're not here with us. I know they're still watching us and praying over us and for our safety. And so I think it's just like one of those things because our grandparents knew we loved the ocean. And so I think they'd be like really happy and proud to see us still doing something that we love and something that they knew that we could accomplish.
Thank you. Also, give me a second. Jump to this question real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Both my favorite places, Sunset Beach and Haleiwa, but overall, Makaha Beach is my favorite too. Thanks again. Okay. Nice. We got some surfers out here. From Mona Hunkin, Sinai, have a question. What's the most unforgettable wave you've ever ridden?
For me, it was in Tahiti at Te Hupo'o or Chopes. It's where they held the Olympics. I went there in May and I got a really good wave there. I didn't make it out of the barrel, but that was like the hardest wave. And I kept going there and I kept falling on like every wave I tried to barrel. But finally, I like stood up and made the drop and got in it. So I was really proud of myself because from going from keep falling because the wave is super dangerous and super steep. So when I caught that, I was very happy, and that was one of the most memorable waves I caught. What about you, Siva?
Um, I think my most memorable waves was, oh, I think with my nephew because he's like really young. He's like 6 or 7, and like I didn't know how much I love surfing until I saw him start to love surfing. And so when we're like catching waves together, and I saw him catch waves, I'm like, that's like the best wave of my life. Even though like we just went straight, I just loved how happy it made him.
So you said Tahiti was that a tryouts for the Olympics?
No, I went there because I had a contest, and my coach, he actually coached the gold medalist there, and he's from there. So we were going there in between practicing at Papara. That's where the contest was,
Okay,
and so we've gone there a few times.
nice. Okay, let me go back to this question, but I'm just gonna name off these places that I've um, seen that you guys have gone, and you can tell us more later on. So I documented Japan, El Salvador, Puerto Rico, and I think Huntington Beach, Abu Dhabi, and then you just mentioned Tahiti. And we'll get back to more of the other places that I haven't named, and me just tackle this question. You guys have been uh, done a lot of traveling, so let's see. Can you bring that back up, Lasso? Okay, this is from Tasi. Growing up next to the ocean is always therapeutic, even if you're not in the water. But just listening to the waves provides security and relief. Our moana always lives in you, and it will. Okay, there's a
It'll
continuous.
always appreciate y'all, Mana.
Thank
That's
you.
from
So
Kalani. Yeah.
thank you, Kalani.
Hmm. So, we're so very proud of both of you, and not just the both of you, but also knowing that even your older sisters representing, our Pacifica, our Polynesian, and all the Pacifica people around the world, because this is not a sport that we see a lot of our Polynesian people in, right? Or any of Melanesia, Micronesian. And so I want to know, like, when you guys were out there competing and start to get into competition, how was that? What was the anxiety level for the both of you when you first started your first competition?
I think it was since we were so young. We did a welcome contest when we were really young, and then we did WSA. I think when I was in sixth grade. But the first contest I did, the welcome contest, I think it was like fifth grade or fourth grade maybe. but I didn't have any anxiety at all because
Mm.
I was so young. And even at my first WSA contest in 6th grade, I got like 5th in my first heat, so I got out. But I had so much fun. I feel like the anxiety comes once you start to get better and want to do better. But when you're younger, I feel like you don't. Like, you're not worried about that.
Yeah, I think like if you love what you do, then that's what you just do. I mean, sometimes I get anxiety. I'm like, oh, what if I do bad? What if this happens? What if I don't catch a wave? But then I try to change my mindset into like, I do this because I love doing this. And so when you tell yourself that, like the anxiety and the nerves go away. Sometimes, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. But, you know, like also too, we're like prepared and like God has prepared us. And so that's also like the mindset we both use while going into our contests.
Walk me through that process. You've mentioned something, catch the wave, and I watched, some of the clips, and I'm always curious. There's like, 10 people waiting for a wave. How do you determine which wave belongs to who? How does that work?
Well, usually the person on the inside of the wave. So if the wave is coming, the person closest to the peak, which would be the whitewash, typically it's their wave. And but some people, they believe in like localism. So some people, even if you're on the inside of the wave and it's their wave, like the locals will cut you off. And that's kind of like everyone has their own beliefs on that. But usually it's typically the person on the inside of the wave, they get the wave. And if you're like a more confident surfer, it's actually easier for you to catch the wave because you know if you see the wave, you can paddle, so you can like paddle around people. Some people don't like that, or like paddle faster to the peak. So it just kind of depends on people's level and ability in surfing as well to be able to catch the wave. But it's typically the person inside or closest to the peak.
So have you guys earned that local status? Do you guys earn the right to catch the wave first? You've been there for a while.
We catch a lot of waves.
Yeah.
We catch a lot of waves.
Hey, you recognize us. We're locals now. Get off. All right, let me read this real quick. Point 15, I guess. Hey guys, I feel like your influence down under in Australia and New Zealand would be great for young Pacifica people. Let's see, can you pop that back up real quick to get into the sport from Hawaii? Okay, so what are your thoughts on that, girls?
Yes, I think that'd be like great. Each time like Lucy and I we see like another like Polynesian in the water, it's like so exciting because you know like this is what we do. Like this is like we're ocean people. And so seeing like more Polynesians in the water would be such a fun experience, especially just like sharing that connection like throughout all the islands. I think that'd be like really beautiful.
Yeah, especially for other Samoans, like I would love to see more of them surfing, and every time we see them in the water, we get so excited because there's not a lot. So sometimes, even though we're all Polynesian, it's still it's still good to see. Like I feel like it's different. Like we're all Polynesian, but like
The Samoan to Samoan connection is like
it's
Okay,
like
well,
different. Like
speaking about Polynesian girls, there's always this difference between our build versus others. So what was it about our Polynesian build that makes you stand out amongst all your competitors?
oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're bigger than a lot of the other competitors. Sometimes it can be like you can be like self-conscious, like because we're like more thicker. We're still skinny because like we train and hard, but like we're definitely thicker. So sometimes it can be like self-conscious going around like other surfers. Like me and Sue were just talking about that.
yeah.
But
Oh,
like it's a good thing. It can be used to your advantage, like with strong surfing. And I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of, like with your body. But I don't know, see, like, what do you think?
No, I think like when I was younger, since we were like literally the only like two like Samoan girls.
Yeah, in
In
California.
California, like we look so different. Our body types were so different, and like I used to be not. I don't know if the words like embarrassed is like the right word. I was just like, thinking like I'm so much bigger than these girls. I'm like 12. I'm like super tall. I'm like a big girl, and they're like 12 and like not the same size as me. So for like a long time, I'm like why am I so different? But I think like growing up and like growing up with our grandparents and like our mom too, like you learn like I'm you're just like growing into like who you're supposed to be, and like you're growing into like your cultural like body and like all that kind of stuff. So now like I'm okay with it. Sometimes I still kind of get like oh wow, like I'm bigger than this girl, but I think it's a good thing because this is who we're supposed to be, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like
I think people try and make us think that there was something wrong with how we looked.
a boy just told me, I'm like, oh, you can grab this because you're bigger than me. And he's like, I don't know, Lucy, you're pretty big. I'm like, bruh. That's so mean. But like, I don't think he meant like big. I think he just meant like I'm pretty thick, like, you know, strong. But you know, it's like.
And you know what?
I can relate
That's
because
crazy.
my
Okay, go
daughter
ahead.
is your age, and it's the same thing. You know, they look at her, even the like folks around Oklahoma they think girls are not supposed to be that strong. So when it's like just moving things for the sororities, she's like grabbing these big props, like, and they're like all the men are looking because they're like, how is she doing this, right? But it's just like natural to her. She always done like heavy work like that. But they look at her and they're just amazed at just the natural strength and how she's like nonstop just carrying things back and forth. And she's not big, but she's big compared to the other girls locally. But I can relate to what you guys are saying. We say it, we're proud. We always say we're built different.
You know, we had a politician on our podcast a couple of months ago, and I don't know exactly the word, but it stood out to me when he said comparison is next to something about it's something that has to do with failure, right? And so I think like because when you guys mentioned about you're self-conscious about the way your body is and stuff, and I'm looking at both of you like I'm kidding me, you guys are perfect, you're beautiful, you're great. And then you mentioned you're comparing it to these other girls who are just different body types, and but at the same time I'm looking at the both of you and thinking, okay, well, the advantage that I see with the both of you is that you have such strength in comparison to these other girls on the waves, that you guys are able to maneuver through those tough waves way better than other girls cannot. And so, like you said, you guys have a lot of advantage, and God gave you that gift for many reasons. And so, and the way that the both of you handle these critics and these criticisms is amazing. So kudos to both of you. It
Thank
takes a
you.
lot. So
Yeah, going back to that, try not to deviate too much from the segment, but I did come across one of your videos, and I couldn't tell which one of you guys got into a car wreck.
Oh, that was me. Yes,
Okay.
that was me.
Yeah. How's the recovery? Was that a while ago or?
Um, well, I got into 2 car accidents. Are you referring to the one that had like the neck brace or?
Yeah, you were laying like injured. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm okay. That was last year, last June. Um, it was pretty crazy, but I'm just really thankful like I'm okay, and nothing like major happened to me. So I'm just happy that I was protected by the grace of God, because it could have ended up really bad.
Wait, what she also forgot to mention was that she's so strong because she got into this car accident, and I think like a week later she flew out to one of her competitions, and she had to go and compete like right after her car accident.
Yeah, that was
Twice, 2 times.
that was really hard.
That's crazy. It's just like Mona just mentioned down below, and she's she says we're just built differently.
it's fabulous. Yeah. Oh, and then also to add, thank you, Haichi 3F03. What was mentioned in the last podcast is comparison is the killer of joy. That's what it was said. Yeah. Thank you for reminding.
Nice.
Um, we have another comment. Let's see. Oh, question. Go ahead.
What's more challenging, the wave dynamics or the ocean conditions?
I think both can be challenging, but I would say ocean conditions can be more difficult because like if you have a perfect like wave, it's kind of easier to surf than with like how we're talking about rip currents. If there's a lot of rip currents and wind, and
It's
high
hard.
surf, all three of those combined are more difficult to surf compared to like a perfect 8 foot peeling wave.
I want to go back to something you mentioned on one of your videos. I don't know if you were sarcastically mentioning this, but you prefer evening training or is it night training versus morning training? Walk us through that.
Yes, I like evening training. I kind of like sometimes I like the evening training because like it can be like really relaxing to your body, especially like if you get a good stretch or like a good massage after like the workout. It's easier for me to like go to sleep and then like the recovery, and then I can wake up the next day feeling like really good about myself. But now Lucy and I have both started to like try to exercise more in the mornings, and so now I think I enjoy both equally.
Morning trainings, like morning runs, we've been doing those a lot. We did them a lot during COVID, but we're just starting to do them again. That feels so amazing because you're starting your day off like really well. So we prefer, I think early morning or
Late
evening,
night,
yeah, compared to the middle of the day.
I cannot do anything in the middle of the day.
Leaso, what do you prefer when you go on your runs?
Oh, I prefer running in the evenings. Yeah. I feel
On the
like my
morning.
body's a lot warmed up now versus the morning. Only because I'm as older I get, it's hard to get, up and going and running like I used to before. But yeah, so I get it. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot these questions and I want you to point at each other. All right. So I'm sure you guys done this before. Real quick, fire questions to the both of you. All right. Still others wave. Be late to training.
Me, both of us.
Clap back at a negative comment online. Forget sunscreen. Now I know you guys mentioned something about sunscreens. You guys don't use sunscreens, right?
No.
Okay, so we'll talk about that later. What do you guys use besides sunscreens? Okay, like replacing it.
Nothing.
Okay, so then we scratch that one off. Start a dance battle at a barbecue.
I don't know. We would never do that, but probably.
Eat the last serving of cocoa rice. Really?
Okay.
Ooh, that's a tough one. All right, the last one. Take the biggest wave of the day. I can see who's more competitive. Yeah.
Speaking of the biggest wave of the day, does this name ring a bell? Sebastian Studner?
I'm not sure.
So I just watched a documentary, 86-foot wave in Portugal. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, I did see that. That was I don't know if I could ever do that.
Big wave
No.
surfers, they are insane. They're like
It's
on another level.
You have to train every single day. Like you can't miss a day because it's so dangerous. That's a new type of dangerous.
Yeah, I would not do that.
It is. That's crazy.
So
Has
86.
your dad tried that?
No, yeah.
That takes a lot of training and dedication.
It's intense. That's like life threatening. Like that's crazy.
One thing goes wrong, like
everything goes wrong.
It's very dangerous
for the surfer
Wow.
and for whoever is their jet ski assist. It can go really bad.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine myself on one and forget it. I think I'd be on the bottom already with the shells. So, girls, speaking about, training and stuff, to get to the point that you're in, right? What did your dad start you guys off with? Well, yeah, first thing is learning how to swim. But how did he get you guys to be comfortable on a surfboard? It's different with riding a bike, but starting off with surfing is difficult. How did that start off with you guys?
I don't really remember a lot. I think he just put us on a surfboard and then he just started catching waves with him.
Yeah, I would just say like a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
Like our dad was or is like he used to take us surfing like every single weekend. So like everyone knows don't make plans on the weekend because like we already know what we're gonna do. We're surfing. So I think it was a lot of repetition, and then like he used to take us skating. So we used to skate a lot to practice, and then competitions, and then when we moved here, he's like, you have to catch 30 waves, you have to catch 40 waves, like you can't come in until you catch like all of these waves. And I used to hate it, but that summer actually really helped our surfing.
Wow.
It was so
And it's a
great.
workout. Yeah, it's a workout, right? Because you're using your whole body to, one thing is to get to that section in the ocean, and another is trying to balance while you're on that surfboard.
Did you guys ever
It's a
surf
lot.
in Samoa?
Not me. Lucy has though.
Yes, that is my favorite place
Like,
ever that I've
which one? Which island?
um
Is it
the
American
main
Samoa
island,
or Samoa? Western.
Samoa. We went to Solani Resort
Okay.
and surfed. And we also went to, I think, the coconut. Like we didn't stay at the coconut resort or the Solani resort, but we went to go surf. We're in front of the resorts,
Nice.
and the waves are so good there. Everything about it is perfect there.
Yeah. I was wondering if
Yeah.
you ever surfed Tutuila, because there's a part on the western side of Tutuila. It's pretty dangerous, but I noticed a lot of the California surfers and the ones from Hawaii, like the daredevils, they usually come and test the waters out there. So I wouldn't recommend it to you guys, but I know you guys are pros. But if you're ever on that side of the island, maybe ask some of those surfers what it's like. But I know it's pretty dangerous. Just curious if you guys ever surfed at it's called Le'ala Sliding Rock in Tutuila. So yeah,
Um, Wait, I think I surfed there.
you did.
I'm pretty sure in American Samoa.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I surfed there.
Okay. So now we can
It was
check off one
actually
of the dangerous spots you've conquered.
our dad. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Our dad surfed there too, and we surfed there too with our uncle. And they just recently, I heard, the break changed because they added something, so it's like a little bit different. But when we went there, it was very sketchy. Like
Huh.
it's very sketchy, and even coming in, you have to come in between the rocks. And I was really scared to come in
Oh,
because
yeah.
if you miss it, you gotta like go back out and try and get back in. It is dangerous. I'll say. It's dangerous. I was scared to go out, but then I caught some waves. But yeah, it's dangerous for sure.
That's Le'ala for you.
Yeah, speaking of challenges, and the dangers of what you guys have to go through to learn these things, every journey has a challenge, right? But what's been the toughest moment in your surfing career, and how did you both overcome it?
I think mine was uh, maybe like last year because I was able to like get on the WSL tour, and I kept getting out in all of my heats from having like I guess in my version like a successful like um, year of surfing to like getting to the second part of the year and then just consistently losing every single time I would travel like all these places and just like lose within 20 minutes. Um, but then after like all those losses, I just knew like I enjoyed myself and like looking back, like I enjoyed every single moment. And maybe I didn't want to lose, but like those losses really made me like a stronger person. So sometimes you have to have hardships to like move on and like have like good times.
Yes, I totally agree with Sive. I feel like I'm overcoming challenges every single day because as a surfer and probably as an athlete, just even though we do it so much, putting on a jersey and going into the water, it's scary because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like you could lose really bad, or you could win, like win your heat and do really good. So like the unknowing can be scary and intimidating, and then when you lose, you feel like terrible, and it's all mental. So you just have to like be really mentally strong and just um, keep pushing yourself and knowing like God has a plan and like everything's gonna work out accordingly to Him. So you just have to like keep having faith, like even if you do bad, because like it's not easy, like to keep surfing in competitions.
It's
So
hard
it's so hard.
because you just don't know what the waves are going to do. Like you can have a whole entire game plan of like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna sit here in the heat, and then you can go into the water, and the whole entire ocean can change. And so sometimes like that's the hardships of surfing. Sometimes it's not your ability. It's like sometimes it's connecting to the ocean and connecting to the changes that happens in it.
See, you got another comment from our viewers. I know Oceanside is a huge surf town. Was that where it sparked your interest in surfing, or did it come later when you moved to Hawaii?
Well, of course, like we started to learn how to surf in Oceanside, so I guess that's where like the surfing started in our family and within Lucy and I. So we're definitely grateful for that part of our life too.
Walk me through this process. I know you have several sponsors, and feel free to call them out if you wish to recognize them. But my question is, how does that work with your sponsorship? If something doesn't go right, just by your performance, is that something that's frowned upon on your sponsors? Do you risk losing any of your sponsors? How does that work for you guys?
That definitely happens to a lot of surfers. Like they're scared to do bad, or like don't want to do bad, or feel pressure from their sponsors. But we have really supportive sponsors, and our main sponsor that really helps us out is Wind and Waves, and we also are sponsored by like Dakine and Bubblegum, Carb to Car, and she's sponsored by Southwest Surfboards. But Wind and Waves, they told us that they just care about the people who we are, and just want us to like be the best people we are. So that doesn't feel we don't feel any pressure from that at all. I feel like the pressure comes from like we put pressure on ourselves the most.
Give me a second. We got another comment from our viewer. If you could sit down with a pro surfer, what questions would you throw their way?
Good question.
I mean, I don't even know what I would ask them. I guess I would just ask them about their travels and like what ways they travel to were the best, and then I would ask them like, oh, how does it break? How did you like it? And like, how did you like the culture there? I guess that's what I would ask another like pro surfer.
And then we got another one. Who's your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration is my mom. Probably Sives too, but our mom is like so hardworking and so loving, and she really taught us like just to keep pushing. Oh my gosh, like I could like cry talking about my mom.
Yeah, our mom's literally like the best, especially like raising 5 kids. It's not easy at all, and she also like took care of our grandparents and like being so young, like because our grandparents when they came to like the U.S. like they couldn't speak English like that well, and so my mom was like a translator for them. She did all their paperwork for them, and like she did everything for them, and like she's just a great mom, and she does everything for us as well.
Well, like our grandpa.
Well, no, like they could speak English obviously, but like the paperwork sometimes
Yeah,
could be like hard.
she's so strong. Like she's endured so much. Like you couldn't tell by looking at her, but she always tells us like to keep pushing. Like
It's interesting
Yeah.
you bring that up because last week we had our guest speaker from Fiji, and he said something similar. And he referenced it's a reference from Finding Nemo, and it was keep swimming, right? Dory, was it Dory that said that?
Yep.
Just keep
Yep.
swimming. And it's kind of similar to what you said. It's relatable. Keep pushing, right? So as hard as things can be, it's that driven mentality to keep on going, whatever stumbles you're facing, just overcome those obstacles and keep marching forward. So I find it interesting that consecutive weeks you're sharing the same relatable advice or motivation or something that is passed through from our parents or grandparents, just trying to motivate us to you know don't end your drive there. There's something greater for you to continue to pursue. So thanks for sharing that.
So, Lucy, I have a question for you. Beating a top ranked surfer at the World Surfing Games was huge. How did that change your mindset going into the future events?
um, well, like I actually grew up well, she's younger than me, but I've actually known her since I was younger because we both grew up surfing Oceanside. But beating her, um, it was like very positive to me. But that competition, I felt super confident in my surfing because I was surfing so much. But I think it just gave me confidence. But not only just beating her, but that competition specifically, I was really close to getting a wild card into the Olympics because I did so well. So I think it just gave me confidence. So going into the next ISA in September, I hope I can like keep going and um, like keep building off that past ISA competition.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see that because, it does boost not just your level of, hype confidence, but also the excitement in your siblings as well. So, Siva, I have to ask you a question. It relates to Lucy, right? Like, how did that make you feel in your endeavors and your achievements of trying to get to where you need to achieve in your goals and in your competition?
Oh yes. Um, well, I just try to keep having like a positive like look for my surf contest and keep the good energy going from contest to contest because it is hard to stay positive
Yeah.
surfing sometimes competitions because it's so hard. But definitely with the support of like my sisters and my brother and my parents, that is like the main factor of like why we both can continue surfing competitions with a positive mindset. So I think that is like how I try to go about contests.
That's good. Especially, having both of you, you have older sisters, but the fact that the both of you being close in age, have each other, when no one's around. So that's good. Being able to have siblings around. So to keep that support system as well with everyone else, siblings, brother, mom and dad. So that's a good thing.
I'm always curious about the deep, and most time ones don't swim in the deep. But I know you guys experienced that. But my first experience swimming in the deep, actual deep blue, I never realized how the depth of the ocean is until I swam in the deep. And then you look, it like you see darkness, but it doesn't end. But there was one video that one of you guys shared. I couldn't remember which one of us, you guys, but which one of you guys was swimming with the dolphins? I thought that was pretty interesting. Um,
Oh, that's me. It's so fun. There's dolphin tours, or like a boat harbor next to our house, and so I started working with my brother on the boats, and yeah, we get to swim with, or we were swimming with like pilot whales, dolphins, whale sharks, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. When my first day, I was like really scared because that's like really deep, but it's actually like even though you can't see anything, just the blueness of the water is very beautiful, and it's just like wow, like this is like, the most amazing thing in the world.
yeah, it was like mesmerizing. But it's interesting that you mentioned that. And I just want to share a story real quick. In Samoa, there's not many. At least the village we're from, it's all cliffs, and then it's like a cutoff, and then deep blue. So what our villagers at a young age, all the kids would jump in. You're talking about like fourth grade and so forth. They're already great swimmers. And what the villagers do, these kids, we would always go. It's like maybe 20 or 30 of us, and we go as far as we can, where you can barely see land anymore because the ocean's rising. And it's like a game of chicken. You're like, who's gonna go back first? And we'll keep on going until someone. But then there was a school of dolphins that came by, and all we could see was fins between the waves, and someone said was sharks, and it was all man for himself. So we're all racing back. And I remember there's some of the younger ones. To me, I was like, I'm not gonna be shark bait today. I'm like pushing them back. But that video reminded me how vulnerable you can feel in that vast ocean. Do you guys feel that way sometimes when you're on that board? What does that feeling feel like? That vulnerability by yourself out there.
Um, yeah, I think it's like at least like for me, I think when I'm in the ocean, I'm just like wow, like this is just the best thing in the world, and like I just appreciate every moment, and I appreciate that I'm able to like connect with something so spiritually, and I think that's really like beautiful. Like, even like swimming with like the dolphins and like the sea animals, it's just like one of those moments where you like, wow, like this is like, you have to, at a certain point you always have to like, it always comes back to God and like his creation. It's like, wow, this is like the most beautiful thing that he's ever created. Like, I think it's like, that's like how I think when I'm in the ocean, like, wow, this is so beautiful. Like, he really did create this for us to appreciate and to use and to love.
No,
Well
that's great.
said.
And I like that you guys bring back, having that spiritual factor and having faith. And that's what usually what we should have in mind rather than relying on our own will, but just to have that presence in mind that there's a greater being above that is taking care of us. And that's where our safety comes from. So, yeah. And also, I want to thank you guys for sharing your faith too and not being ashamed to share that with us. Yeah. Go ahead, Lasso.
So, being on the beach, being in the ocean, out there in the sun, I said I was going to come back to sunscreen because I don't use sunscreen when I go running. I'm always out in the hot sun, about 95 degrees. But I want to ask you guys, all right, so what is it with skincare? What can you advise, those who are out there? Because you guys, I love your videos, by the way. What could you advise those who are wanting to know the secret of keeping your skin healthy in a situation where they're going to be out there in the sun for long hours? And also
Um,
hair too at the same time. Remember we talked about that?
I think it depends on person to person. I think different things will work for different people.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
We don't use anything for our hair before we surf or for our skin. And I think for us, it feels better. Like our skin, I don't know if there's like some scientific thing or if this is like sun damage, but like after a long day in the sun, my skin actually feels like more firmer. Like I actually have like less wrinkles, like
Yeah, no, I feel great. My skin feels, it feels so great.
it feels good.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it does damage our hair because our hair is light sometimes, but you just have to cut it off and take care of it. But I mean, it just
Yeah,
just on the person. Like I think like if they get sunburns easier, definitely wear sunscreen. Maybe wear a
right.
hat. Maybe put some leave-in conditioner in your hair. But I sometimes think that sunscreen and hair stuff can actually do more harm. Sometimes I feel like it's better just to let your natural
Natural
oils
hair.
in your hair and your
Oil,
natural
yeah,
skin. But that's just
I
us.
agree. I agree. But I'm not going to mention castor oil too much other because it's
I'm not
something
that.
I use. But other than that, yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you guys. I don't use sunscreen, it just messes up your skin. But, I wanted to touch on the um I wanted you guys to be on the podcast because I wanted you guys also to touch on the part where you guys were getting some mean people commenting on your videos, and there was a video I watched where I saw your mom in that video with the both of you, and it really touched me because I have kids, and as a mother I know how it feels like to see like these comments coming out there, in regards to the videos that you guys put. Can you guys tell us about that a little and how you guys were able to handle these criticisms that came your way in your videos?
Um, well, I think someone's always going to have something to say about you, good or bad. But I think it's just important to remember, even though it's hard, that other people's opinions don't matter. Only what you believe about yourself matters. But sometimes people just can say rude things, and it's like, why would you say that? But
It's just always good to, oh, that's already, it's always just good to, oh, Amy.
Oh,
Sorry, me.
that's our landlord.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
really nice.
Yeah, it's fine.
shout out to the landlord. Hey.
Yeah, shout out to the landlord. That was funny.
But he's like literally our best friend. Like we love talking to him. Like he's such a great person. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that caught me off guard.
I thought he was gonna like keep looking and turn around.
Yeah, like I thought he was gonna be like.
I thought he was looking for food. The way he was looking, like that
Hey,
was funny.
don't
That was
knock the
funny.
landlord. He's probably got some surfing stories too, so you never know.
But yeah, no. To refer back to what we were talking about before, um, it's just so important to like when people say negative things to come back to the strong foundation in your life. And so sometimes, yeah, people like do say negative things about Lucy and I, but like our foundation is like family in Christ, and so that's what matters to us, and like that's how we get over like some things that people say about us because that doesn't matter. The only people in our life that matters is our family and Christ Himself.
Yeah, like someone actually just said something very rude to me the other day. Um, and it actually made me really upset. And I just started crying because I'm like, why do you keep having to like point out negative things about us? But then when I didn't, once we talked about it, like there's no hard feelings, but then we started talking and the person was telling me like what they've experienced. And I think sometimes like when they don't feel 100% good about themselves or have had negative experiences, that's when they do it to other people. So I think it's sometimes not personal. It's just how
Mhm.
they don't feel 100% like happy within themselves. So you just have to remember that too.
Mm. It's
You guys
it's it's
faced any discrimination in this journey of yours? Does discrimination exist in this sport of yours?
Um, yes, I would say yes.
Sometimes it's just like hard, especially. I mean, sometimes I feel like it can be like hard for people to like understand me or like to connect with me because like um, there's not that many Samoan surfers, and so like sometimes they just like don't understand like where we come from or like why we are the way that we are, and there's something like wrong with that because like all cultures are beautiful, but sometimes when people like don't understand like our background and like our history, like that can be like the hardships.
I think it's hard too, especially being like some of the few only Samoan surfers. Like when I went to Tahiti, everyone was so nice to me. But when I was at the competition, I was by myself with my coach, and he's Tahitian, and he was introducing me to all the Tahitians, and they were all so nice and welcoming. But like the Tahitians had their group, the Hawaiians had their group, and I was with the Tahitians, and then but it was just kind of hard because there was like no Samoan group. So I
Mhm.
felt like when you just kind of feel like the odd of one out,
Yeah.
Hmm.
even though no one is like rude to us at all, you just kind of feel like wow, I wish there was a group, you know.
Yeah, like I wish like when I went to my competitions, like I had like a like if Lucy doesn't come with me, like oh man, I wish there was another like Samoan girl or like guy, because sometimes like like, it's just always nice to have like more people around that you can connect with, I guess.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, like sometimes people can like try to make us feel like embarrassed that we surf, you know.
Yeah, like I sometimes I feel like people are like, oh, like you're someone like you're not even supposed to be here, and like I'm like, well, that's kind of like mean. Like I have like every right to be here, but like sometimes I do feel like people try to make me feel
Like
embarrassed.
embarrassed, yeah.
Yeah, like all the time I feel like that. People try to make me feel like that.
But
But
we
it's
don't
like a
really care.
motivation for you, right? It's a motivator just to push you like, "Oh, I'm gonna prove you I deserve to be here," instead of yeah, so mm.
Yeah,
But
it's a
that's
very
that's
relatable experience,
yeah.
and it seems like in all walks of us, not just Samoans, but us Polynesians, because people categorize us to be in certain areas, or these aren't areas that you or normally don't achieve, greatness at. So some get intimidated by seeing something or someone new, succeeding in their, I call it arena, right? So here they come, but they know that once these athletes love, that type of sports, it's like they can dominate it. So, encouragement to you guys is it's not really trying to exclude you, but maybe they know what can happen once that we adopt to these types of sports and gain more interest in it because you know it is what it is. So no,
And I
it
say,
was my
yeah.
curiosity. So
I
sorry, go
say,
ahead.
welcome all those challenges because that's something that really does push a person to not to prove they're wrong, but to also be like, no, this is my ground, just as every right that you're able to be here, I'm here as well. So, and it makes you stronger. every time. So good thing. I say bring it on.
For
We have another comment for you guys.
We all can be superhuman or beast mode like on land, but when it comes to the ocean, we're all vulnerable and it humbles you quick. LOL. So I think it's referring back to what we were saying earlier, the vulnerability in the ocean. So,
Do you guys name your surfboards?
No.
No, no, but that'd be so funny. That's something my brother would
Yeah.
do.
no,
We
as
have
in
another comment.
superstitious type of no, or just something not interested in.
I just haven't thought of
I
it.
never thought about doing that.
All right, let me follow up on. I think the second part of his question. Hurt people hurt people. Steer clear from those projecting that negativity. Keep doing. Let's see if you pop that back up. Keep doing the great work you're both doing. Keep the faith and reach for the stars. Amen to that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have to ask with your siblings, right? Who's the loudest in cheering out of all your siblings?
Jonah, for sure.
Yeah, our brother. He's always he loves to cheer.
Yeah. I feel like me and Steve are silent cheers.
We're like, well, like we'll get out the water and be like, good job. Like that's what we'll do for each other. Because like surfing
Who's
is not like allowed sport, I guess.
and who's the toughest siblings? Who's the toughest out of all the siblings?
I feel like we're tough in our own ways.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
I think, to be honest, I think it's me and Lucy because we're always, I don't know how, like we always end up in these crazy situations. Yeah, like, but we just get through it.
Yeah, we get through any situation, and we're really tough on ourselves. We're tough on our siblings. We're tough on other people. But it's tough love. Sometimes we can say things bluntly, but
It comes from a good place.
it comes from a good place. And like anything looking at us, you'd think nothing's ever like happened to us or no challenges ever come. But like we've like endured so much, just like anyone else.
Yeah.
But we every time something comes our way, like we like just get back up and just keep going because like that's what you have to do if you want to achieve your goals.
Yeah, sure. I agree. Especially with achieving goals, you can't just achieve goals without challenges, right? So these are things, the hurdles that you have to get through. Just like your dad pushing you guys through those waves, you have to get through those waves to be able to get through tougher waves. So good life lessons, learned on the waves, take that on your own life. So it's a good thing.
You know, I forgot to ask. I know you said your grandparents on your mom's side are from American Samoa. Did you mention were they also surfers? Your
Um,
grandparents?
no, but my grandma, I heard she did fish.
Yeah. I
Um,
heard my papa said that he used to like love the ocean.
I think he said that he went swimming
Yeah, he used
with
to
like his friends in the
friends.
Marines,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, something
I
like that.
think, but they weren't surfers. But I heard my grandma fished. I heard. I gotta double check with my
You
parents.
know, I think that is
Yeah.
true. I think her dad used to fish, like the brothers.
I meant to ask, and you don't have to answer if you don't remember. Do you know what village your grandparents were from?
Yes.
So our papa is from Pono and Alfono, and then
Oh,
our grandma is from Nu'uli and Awa.
go. Love it.
They're very proud of where they're from.
Yes, yes, they really were.
Not much
So,
surfing spots in Nuuli, right, Leaso?
mm, uh,
I could be wrong.
no,
Maybe by the there are some spots, I guess, if you would venture.
but they got some beautiful inlet lakes, I guess you could call them. So,
Yeah.
but also some beautiful shores. So, but I no waves. I don't think so. Not with the coral reefs, I believe. So,
But hopefully
um,
that's such a small island. They can go surf anywhere they want, you know. Try Vaikongye, Vailo, or
mhm.
wherever.
So, girls, I have to ask, balancing sharing your journey online while keeping parts of your life private. How do you balance that? Let me ask that question again. How do you balance sharing your journey online while keeping parts of your life private?
Um, well, we were just talking about that
Yeah.
on TikTok live today.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like we show a lot. We've been showing a lot of our lives, but somebody told us to do like a morning routine, and I did start filming one, but then I told them like I just ended up not finishing it because there's parts of our lives that we want to keep private for like no one to have, whether it's good opinions or bad opinions. We don't want them to be able to see those parts of our lives, and like be able to give judgment in. And so our dad and mom also used to say what like happens in our house stays in our house. Like you don't go tell other people what's going on in our house and like our business. So I feel like we're able to keep like we're able to balance it. What do you think, Steve?
Oh yeah, I think the same thing as Lucy. I feel like yeah, we do share a lot of our lives, but there's a lot of things like people don't know about us. I feel like what people know about us on the internet is like very surface level. I don't think anyone like truly like knows us. Maybe like obviously like our family and stuff, but I guess maybe they don't know us because they don't know like our hardships, like what we went through and like why we do some things that we do. So I feel like our morning routine and like our night routine is like so like private and like special to us. Like those things like is just for us.
It's kind of nice because um, nobody really knows anything about us. People only know what we tell them. So like sometimes we think it's funny because like if people are talking about us, we don't know what they're talking about because they don't really know anything.
Because like
Yeah.
really all the kids is like these girls surf and all they do is talk online all day.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, very surface level, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the sacred part that you guys are always able to hold with for yourself, right? Is keeping that part and allowing yourself to just keep the narrative at a surface level. Because yeah, like what you said, a lot of things are sacred to be kept private for just you and your family. And so that's good. You guys are able to do that because not a lot of people your age are able to keep a lot private. So you guys are raised well. So good kudos to both of you. Yeah,
Thank
very
Thank
smart
you.
as
you.
well.
Thank
So
you.
let's say you didn't pursue the surfing route, both of you guys. What would a different sport or a different career, what would that life look like without surfing? Let's say surfing wasn't the area that you had ventured into. Where did you see your next best thing is?
Wasn't that on TikTok? I feel like I'd be a great tennis player. So I've been like so I'm on tennis TikTok. I'm like, dang, this is like something I could definitely have done if I wasn't a surfer, or maybe like volleyball, or
Or like I think I would play soccer.
she was
or
good at
something.
soccer.
But like we don't know anything else besides surfing. But maybe like I would play soccer and she'd play like
I think I'd probably end up playing
volleyball. Our
volleyball.
grandparents wanted her to play volleyball um, so much, but we know nothing outside of surfing, which I'm kind of. At first, I wanted to do other things, but I'm glad we didn't.
Because like surfing's like such a lifestyle too. So like we really like that lifestyle.
Yeah, so what's the routine with how you played surfing into your daily routine? How is it every day or is it twice, three times a week? How do you guys do that?
We try to surf as much as possible. We try to surf every single day. Sometimes that can't happen because we work and go to school. But we try to either surf in the mornings before work or like before things need to get done, or evening time after work is done and like after school is finished as well.
How early in the morning and how late at night? I mean, how does that work? Do you guys, okay, so I don't know much, right? So what do you check on when the waves are gonna come or how do you guys know when is the best time to go out there to surf to
Uh,
catch that wave?
well, I think it depends on seasons and swells. So right now we're like in a
Mm.
summer season, so there's not waves close to our house. So we'll check the surf report for the week, and we'll try to plan work accordingly to that. So we'll not go to work one day when the waves are bad, and then when the waves are good, we'll just go surfing. And I think in the wintertime when there's waves close by our house, we can surf
A lot more.
a lot more. So we can do 2 sessions or like go to work and then come back home and then do another session. So it just depends on the
Mm.
season, um, the wave sizes. But we basically base everything around surfing.
Like school, work.
Yeah, like with our classes, like we'll try to take these classes like all online or like do early or late Zooms
So we can go
so
surfing.
we can go surfing.
So here's a crazy question. Last week, was it last week? Right? Tsunami warning? What went through your mind? Did any craziness say, I want to ride, one of these tsunami waves? Did any of that cross your mind?
Oh, that actually went through our brother's head. Like he was so
Your
excited
brother.
because he's a lifeguard, and so he's like this is his chance to like test out his skills and like help save people. And like I was in California with my parents for a surf contest, so it was just Lucy and my brother. But our brother was on the other side of the island, so he was giving us the updates because since he's like in the lifeguarding, um, he knew a lot about it. But Lucy, her experience was crazy. She was doing TikToks.
It was scary. I was doing TikToks. I only made like two, but usually the tsunami warnings, nothing usually happens. But it was really scary to be here because the sirens kept going off, and that's what was
Mm.
like the scary part. Like the sirens kept going off, so everyone really thought the tsunami was coming. So, and we live close to the beach, so we had to like grab stuff and like take the cars up to the valley. So it was stressful, but thankfully nothing happened.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you guys have better judgment than me and my brothers. So me and my brothers, when about your age, we had like our first hurricanes hit Samoa, and what did we do? We wanted to go play football in the hurricane, so we did, and we wanted to see how far football can go, in hurricane force wind. And it's something that you always have in the back of your mind. Here's a storm, let's go test it. And here comes dad, whipping us, and get inside. There's a hurricane coming, but that what your brother experiences, maybe it's a guy thing or a boy thing, one of those mentality. Here's a storm, let's go test it out. So good for you two for not falling for.
That is
What did
so
they
funny. I
say
think
that's that silent voice in your head? All right, let me jump to this question real quick and comment. Eva, you were in a pageant once. Could you tell us more about your experience about that?
Siva, you probably
oh
knew that question was going to come, right?
no, I thought about it for a second. Um, yes, I did a pageant. I think it was a couple years ago. I did the Miss Samoa Hawaii pageant, and my dad used to always tell me, "Oh, you should try to do a pageant." And like I'm not doing that. Like I'm a surfer. Like why am I doing that? And I don't know what delusion came through like my process of wanting to do it. But I always try. Like every year, my goal is to try something new and try something like I've never done before. So like that was a opportunity for me to like accomplish that during the year. And it was a great experience, and I learned a lot, and I grew a lot as a person. And Lucy helped me a lot during that time because it was so hard. Like it's not just walking down in a nice dress and like just talking. It's a lot of it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hardship.
I take it you can do the Tawalunga song now. If we play that first segment of the Tawalunga song, you know how to and do all that, right?
Yes, like now like when we have family functions, like everyone makes me dance and like do all these different kinds of things, and it's such a beautiful thing that they're able to bring like culture and pageant together and make it into one thing. And so that was like a great experience. And yeah, now I'm always dancing. It seems like
Yeah. No, I like that. Have you done any commercials, since you did the pageant, incorporate that into your surfing promos?
no, not really. I never really thought about it. I think when I was like done with the pageant, um, I just wanted to be like a surfer girl again because like that's like kind of who I am. I'm not very like girly as it may seem when people see me, and so I just wanted to go surfing.
What I liked is how you mentioned your being surrounded by your grandparents, and your family as well. What is a tradition that you guys kept as a family? within the culture as far as, if it has to do with the type of food you guys always eat when you guys are all together, or the songs that you sing, or just what traditions you guys keep as a family?
I think it's just like the foundation of like the Samoan culture of just like being with each other and like honoring that time with each other, especially with like the busy life and like lives and college and work. And so us, like, we always make sure like we set time aside to really honor that, like our family is important, and so we're always talking and like and doing stuff together because like that is a big factor in our culture, is like making sure like we're there for each other and like supporting each other throughout like everything.
The same thing with you, Lucy? You feel the same?
I guess I feel the same. Our parents always say, like, family comes first. Like, so we always put each other before one another. And, like, my parents always say, like, you don't need friends, you have each other. So I feel like family is, like, the most important thing. And, like, that's one thing that we keep really well and alive, like, in our family.
How do you guys handle arguments with siblings?
We were just talking about this. No, I think like we argue for like 30 seconds. But, like during the argument, like we just start laughing.
Like, me and Steven will laugh.
Yeah, we'll laugh. Like she'll like say something like, why would you say that? Or like I'll say something and like we'll forget about like the argument and then we'll just like start laughing.
Yeah, but with our older sisters, I think they'll get mad at us and like walk away, and then the next day we'll just pretend it never happens.
And that's the good thing about having siblings, right? It's like you're able to easily forgive each other because you got to face each other regardless.
Yes.
So you guys are both in your senior year right now, right? College? Am I correct?
Yes.
So aside from, your short careers, I mean, close to completing your college careers, any personal goals for you individually?
Um, I think I just want to like keep maybe like be trying to become like a better person and doing things that are out of my comfort zone because that's really like difficult to do. And so I think that's like my personal goals out of surfing and academically as well.
Yeah, same. I think I just want to see how far I can push myself. Um, how far I can push myself because I know I can go really far financially, um, like in my sport and just in life. So I'm just excited to see how far not only me but my siblings go because we're really driven. Um, so it's just kind of exciting, but also it can be very stressful. But you just have to like trust the process.
Would you consider each other besties?
Yes.
Yes, I think like all of us, like our two sisters and our brother, we're all just best friends.
I like the unity you guys have. Don't have to answer this, but it's meant to. Have you ever had like I say this because I come from a family of five, and when we fought, all of us fought together, whether it's boys and girls. Have you guys had like a family fight against another family, like group, like 5 on 5? Have you experienced something like that? Like, oh, I see you guys coming. Let's all roll over there and throw down. Have you guys had any of those experiences?
Well, like our parents always like said growing up, like if one fight, we all fight and stuff. So like that's what like we always like. If she's in
Yeah.
trouble, like I'm gonna back up my sister.
Same with our brother too.
If my brother's like fighting a boy, like I'll like probably get beat up. Like I'll hop in with my brother.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to ask that question because it's normal in Samoan families, especially like if it's like 4 or 5 or more. That's what our parents teach us, right? Take care of each other. And you may hate your brother. You may have fought with him last night, but then you see him in a fight the next day, and guess what? We're all in on it. So I love the
No,
unity that you guys have in your family.
like me and my brother, we were like actually got in an argument in the water, and he went in. And then like then he paddled back out, because he always has to like protect like his family. And it was like so funny because like all of a sudden, boom, like we were all out there together. But Nothing too dramatic. But yeah, we definitely back each other. Even if we're fighting with each other, we'll still stick up for one another.
Yeah, like if sometimes like I've heard like maybe like arguments like going in, and sometimes I have like no idea like what's even like happening, but like I was like put my 2 cents in because like I'll see one of my siblings are in trouble or like they need my support.
Yeah, like that's the only way. Like that's I don't really get mad that much, but if someone messes with or like happens with our family, then that will really make all of us like
Upset.
yeah.
I love it, and that's one things that most people don't understand about polys is I can be yelling at my brother or arguing with my brother right now, but someone comes over here and tries to get up on my side, and now I'm like, no, you shut up. That's not your fight. This is,
Yeah,
between me and my
Yeah.
brother.
yeah,
We hate when people like try to get into like our arguments because it's just between us. Because like when they start doing that, like now we're mad at you for like
Right.
why are you saying?
Instant.
So, girls, I know that we're going to be seeing a lot more of both of you in the future. What are the goals that are coming ahead that we're going to be looking out for both of you? That I know you guys are in tournaments and tryouts, and so what is it? What does it look like for you guys for the next couple months and years?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think like we're just gonna keep on trying to become better people, and then I think everything else will just like fall in line with that. What do you think, Lucy?
yeah. I think the same thing. Um, One thing, or I think my main goal, like even if I never won another competition or if I quit, not quit surfing, but stop doing competitions, I think my most important goal would just be to like share my love of surfing with other Samoans or other Polynesians. Like that would be like the most important thing to me, and like our mission, not like our mission, like it just makes me so happy when like we get to share with other people. So that would be like my biggest goal. Like if you quit surfing or quit surfing competitions, like the ocean will always be there, and you can share with anybody that you want to because it's a gift.
I
And you
meant
know
to
what?
follow
The
back
fact
up
that
with the
you guys are able to do surfing, working college at the same time. It's not easy. That's a lot on your plate, trying to do all that scheduling in between and also trying to make sure you get through your competitions and stuff. So again, kudos to the both of you. Not a lot of people can do that. And so we're very proud of you guys for being able to stand your ground and accomplish a lot and still keep pushing forward, even with the criticism that comes your way. But you got a lot, like 99%, 99.9% of a lot of positive that stands right by both their sides. So good job. Yeah.
Yes, thank
Thank you so
you.
Mhm.
much.
Sorry,
um
Arlington, go ahead.
yeah, talk to us about the surfing in American Samoa. What is that like? I mean, just the competitors or the athletes that are actually surfing. What's the level of their experience just from what you see?
Like in American Samoa.
Yes.
Well, when I went there, we were with my uncle and his kids were surfing, which was very cool to see. And his daughter actually went to junior training in
Fiji.
Fiji, which was very awesome to see. So there definitely is surfers there. So that was so awesome to see, and like um, her brother is part of the team now. And when we went to the schools, everyone was very excited about surfing, but there's just not a lot of surfers. When I went surfing there, the only people that were in the water was us. So
Mm.
I know that they're very capable. I think they just need more resources. So we hope that we can like pave the way and help them get more opportunity in surfing because we're definitely blessed to have this opportunity because being able to surf and have surfboards and have money to travel, that's an opportunity that a lot of kids don't have in American Samoa. So we just hope that we can help them in the future.
No, I like that because I know, like, with all the other sports, it's like football and baseball. They have different types of clinics. We have a lot of professionals that return home and just try to build up those sports. And just like what you guys were saying, maybe the structure's not there yet, and maybe there'll be an opportunity for others to establish something, maybe some type of training to gain more interest in it. I know it's more challenging for the females because they don't have that support in American Samoa, and they're probably pushed more towards other sports like volleyball and softball. And like I mentioned earlier, in Samoa, there's still that fear of the water. But maybe folks like you guys can introduce that back to our Samoan people and say, no, this is part of us. Don't be afraid. Let that be another sport. And you know, it kind of reminds me of the movie Moana, right? Like her dad saying, "Stay away from the water." But I like for more folks to, push our females out there to the ocean. Get them interested in. And I love the sport that you guys are in, and I want our females to be participating more, especially American Samoa and Greater Samoa.
It would be so cool to see because, like, someone's they're athletes. Like, we're so athletic. Like, we're just built different, like you said. So, like, these girls, they're so athletic and so talented. So, like, if they just had the opportunity,
Right.
like, learn how
Yeah.
to swim or like learn how to surf, they would be so good at it. So we just hope,
Yeah.
like, to see more people doing that because they're definitely more than capable.
Well, girls, we're getting close to the nearing the end of our podcast, but we have a couple of questions to ask, and it's more of a not really personal, but something that has to do with your life in the past. And that question is, if you could speak to your 10-year-old self, what advice would you give?
Um, I think I'll probably tell my 10-year-old self that I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think that like you're capable of doing much more than you actually like think. When I was like 10 years old, like I did not think I could like be where I am now, especially like as a Samoan girl. Like it's sometimes it can just be really really hard, and so I would just tell myself, just keep going, and yeah, and just keep hanging out with my family.
I'll probably tell myself, don't let anyone stop you. Don't let the negative people stop you because God has a bigger plan for you. And like, you won't believe where you've come because coming from Oceanside all the way to out here in Hawaii, like, we've that's like a movie. Like, now we get to surf and travel and like go to college and do all of this. Like, being younger and living there in California, we would never think that this would be our life now. And that's all because of Jesus Christ. And so, like, these are blessings. Like, even though I haven't like achieved my goals of like being in the Olympics, winning a huge competition, but how far he's taken us is just crazy.
Thank you for sharing that. I have another question. If you could bring somebody from the past back, and if there was one thing you would want to say to them, what would it be?
I think I would probably want to talk to my papa, and I think I would just tell him like, oh, like papa, like come to one of my surf contests and like like what I'm doing. I think that'd be like one of the best things. Um, I wish like I could do that now.
I think I would. I think I would bring back my grandma and tell her thank you for everything that she's done because she's the foundation of our family, and she's the reason why we're here. She's gotten us this far, and so that's probably what I would just tell her. Just like, thank you for making this happen.
Thank you, girls, so much for sharing your journey, sharing your advice. Arlington, is there anything do you like to add or ask?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to. I know we didn't give time to thank your parents for the
Yeah.
opportunity. Go ahead and mention your parents. I'm sorry, their names. I want to at least acknowledge your parents.
Our mom, her name's Susanna, and our dad, his name is Lionel.
Yeah. So for our audience, we always like to recognize the supporting cast, and of course we mentioned her siblings, but then we also want to recognize the parents, just like Coach Tefasau mentioned a few weeks ago. It was his mom, that he owed a lot to for being that greatest supporter, and then for you to, you mentioned a lot of folks that were your inspiration, and also helping support your dreams. in addition to your sponsors, but it's always the family that's the backbone of your effort. So wanted to highlight that, and then just thanking you too for allowing yourself to for this opportunity to share your story, and then thank you too for also embracing the Samoan culture. Not only that, but also representing our Samoan people in your profession, and then standing up to a lot of the critics. Whether it's discrimination or just criticism in general. We encourage you guys to keep your head up and keep pushing forward like everyone else has advised you guys. So, and you know if this is our closing, I also want to give thanks to our audience. We had a lot of questions that came through tonight, so appreciate everything tonight, and it was a good podcast. I appreciate everything that you guys shared, and thanks to the landlord too for having the cameo tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Girls, is there
Thank you.
go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, is there any last comments or questions you have for us before we end?
Maybe like, where do you guys want your podcast to go in like the next 5 years?
Good question. So we hope that this stretches out to the whole Pacifica, not just the Polynesian islands. We want this platform to be used to help share everyone's journey because with our Polynesian, Pacifica, Melanesia, Micronesian, we understand that everything was oral interpretation. And so if we can use this platform to be able to share everyone's journey through the podcast, and hoping that whoever's out there listening can, because we've received so many comments and feedbacks about, I've watched this podcast, I've watched that podcast, and I've learned, and even from grown men, they've learned so much lessons from other people's journey, other people's story, other people's strength, and even for the both of you, you know, um, like my kids as well, they're excited. They're gonna watch this because they see your videos and they're very inspired by it because you both are in something that's so different from the regular football, soccer, volleyball. That's different. We don't normally do that type of sport. We're so caught up in what we're comfortable in. You both are doing something that's just out of the norm and not something that's everything's challenging, right? But it's just you're taking us back to our roots. You're taking us back to what we lost, and I feel like your mom and dad came together for a reason. And if it meant for a white man to come bring this Polynesian woman to bring her back to the ocean, then it was so be it. That's how it should be. And so, however color your hair is, skin color you are, the way you look, it's supposed to be that way because it's supposed to unite everybody in a way that God wants us to be. And so, your journey, your story is just like everybody else. We hope that in the next couple years that it will be utilized because someone's going to turn back and look at your videos and say, hey, they did this, I can do this too. And I'm going through this problem. And I remember talking to the both of you, and I was at the airport and I just cried because I didn't know how it felt like to be bullied online. I didn't know how it felt like to be constantly trolled at and being thrown at about things that hurt my feeling, and bringing my kids involved by talking about them to me. And I couldn't stop crying, and I couldn't believe I'm talking to you guys and I was crying on the phone because you guys just were so strong in that part of that issue that a lot of people can't handle. And it was my first time handling something like that. But to see you guys go through that for so many years, but you guys had so much support behind you, and the way you both handled it was with class. If I could grab someone through the computer and choke their neck, I could. I would do it in a heartbeat. But you guys taught me so much with your strength, your stories, and just watching the way that you guys handle that just empowered me so much. And you guys know that because I had shared that with you. And so that was another reason why I wanted to bring you guys on, was so that everyone could see not only are you both surf prodigies along with your siblings, but just like what you said, there's a lot of things you guys keep private. Nobody knows the journey you guys went through. Nobody knows that this perfect life we see on the outside, there's a lot behind all of that to get you where you need to be right now. And the way you handle it was with so much grace, so much class, and so much light of God with amongst you, that it just resonate to me and everybody else who watches you both. And so, again, with this platform, thank you guys so much for sharing your stories and being a part of our podcast to share your journey, because not only is it helping me, but it's helping everybody else as well. And I want to add this comment that was just mentioned recently before we close. You two are awesome, and thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. God bless you both and your family. Thank you for repping our people and our country. And so
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope I answered your question, and thank you guys so much. And thank you again to Chief Tasiaeafe for his wonderful hosting and being a part of our podcast and sharing, his stories as well. Because I cannot relate to the water because I live inland in the village, and
You're
so
scared
we're
of the
stuck to the waterfall because we can't swim.
water. Sorry, that's
So,
an inside joke. They're the inland folks. We're the water folks. So,
so
but
girls,
there's one thing,
mhm,
before we
go
close
ahead.
out, I forgot to mention because I know your dad's French and your mother's Samoan, American Samoan, being that. Do you guys know the story of the Asu massacre?
No.
Okay, so it'll be a
Look
story.
it
Maybe
up.
ask your
Look it
parents.
up. Yeah.
Ask your parents. But I'm joking, but I think it's unique that your parents met each other, but then there is a history between our American Samoa Island and the French people, which was back in the 1700s. So it's a unique story that you know it's best probably shared by your parents because it's a story um, most American Samoa people know, and I think it's great to hear that. Let me just share a snippet of it. It was a friction between the French, early settlers or colonists in the Pacific, and they clashed with the American Samoa before it was American Samoa, it was Tutuila, and they clashed. But it's great to know that many, many years later, here we have a couple you know, that married each other, French and Samoan. So, so that would be a story that you guys can tell your parents, like, or anyone else. Did you know that this is a great history between our two people? So, and also remember what I told you earlier. About your dad, Boomer Sooner. There's only one Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
OU.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Lasso.
All
Thanks to our
right.
viewers.
Yeah. Well, with
That's
that said, to God be all the glory. And again, thank you, girls, Lucy and Sive. You guys look them up. Shout out to their parents as well and their siblings. And to everybody, have a good night and thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Okay.